is estimated that 50 to 60 million pregnancies are terminated each year by means of abortion. To give you an idea of how many that is, the current population of the UK is 68,739,774 as of today, based on Worldometer elaboration of the latest United Nations data. Exact figures are difficult to gather due to most governments not keeping careful records, and in the case of countries where it is illegal, experts can only hazard a guess. But it is evident that the procedure is widespread throughout the earth. In the US, abortion is the second most common surgical procedure next to tonsillectomy. Annually, there are over 1.5 million cases of the procedure being performed, in the majority of cases on unmarried women. In Central and South America, which is predominantly Catholic, abortion laws are the most restrictive in the world. Nevertheless, illegal abortion is prevalent in these areas, presenting serious health hazards to women. Brazilian women underwent about 4 million abortions last year, and upwards of 400,000 of them were forced to seek medical treatment due to complications. In Latin America, about 1/4 of all pregnancies are terminated. In African countries, the abortion laws are also stringent, and injuries and deaths are common, especially among poor women who seek the aid of illegal practitioners. Many countries throughout the Middle East have strict laws on the books, however. Abortions are still what widely sought and obtained by those women who are able to afford the high fees. Most of Western Europe permits some abortions, with Scandinavian countries being the most liberal in this regard. The National Health Service in the UK has kept track of abortions ever since they were legalised in 1967, and it has observed a doubling of the number of them, along with an increase of illegitimate births, sexually transmitted diseases, prostitution, and a host of reproductive disorders. Certain ethical wrestlings confront doctors who end a child's life in the womb. They may feel, for instance, that it violates their Hippocratic oath. Dr. George Flesch has this to say on the topic. My first abortions as an intern and resident caused me no emotional distress. My discontent began after many hundreds of abortions. Why did I change? Early in my practice, a married couple came to me and requested an abortion. Because the patient's cervix was rigid, I was unable to dilate it to perform the procedure. I caused her to return in a week when the cervix would be softer. The couple returned and told me that they had changed their minds. I delivered their baby 7 months later. Years later, I played with little Jeffrey in the pool at the tennis club, where his parents and I were members. I was horrified to think that only a technical obstacle had prevented me from terminating Jeffrey's potential life. I believe that tearing a developed fetus apart, limb from limb, simply at the mother's request, is an act of depravity that society should not permit. One woman has this to say on the subject. I had an abortion at the age of 20. Now I'm 34, and it's hard for me to deal with what I did. I wanted my baby, but my boyfriend didn't. I'm still experiencing emotional trauma. The pain is with you for the rest of your life. Some try to block out feelings of guilt by rationalising that the act of abortion doesn't really involve killing an infant, as did a young woman named Vicky who made the following statement. I wouldn't let myself think of it as a baby. I read that through the 5th week of pregnancy, the fetus is smaller than your pinky fingernail. I launched I latched onto that idea like you wouldn't believe. I told myself that if it was only the size of a pinky nail, it wasn't it really a baby. I tried to make it not real in my mind so that I could go through with the abortion. But after finally undergoing the abortion procedure, many women and girls experience uncontrollable feelings of guilt, rage and guilt. One confessed, "It wasn't until a couple of weeks had gone by that I began to feel guilty and ashamed of what I'd done." Things got even tougher for her when February rolled around, which was a month in which the baby would have been born. Another reflects, 15 years ago I had an abortion. Following that, I suffered serious depression and had to be treated in a clinic a number of times. I even wanted to commit suicide. As I said in the first part of this discussion, abortion is something which has affected my family since my own mother had one before I was born. In fact, she was one of the first women to have had one after it was first legalised in the UK. What do you think about this change in the law? Would you say it was a good thing? Something to be welcomed with open arms, as it were? Perhaps you yourself are wondering whether or not to go through with this procedure. If you do, it's your business, of course, but before you do, just take into consideration the issues I've raised in this discussion, and also ponder on what God's Word, the Bible, has to say on this matter. At Exodus chapter 21, verses 22 to 25, we read that if a woman is hurt during her pregnancy by two men struggling with each other, but no fatal damage is done to the child, the man is to have damages imposed on him without fail, according to what the owner of the woman may lay upon him. However, if a fatal accident should occur, the man responsible for the death of the unborn child must be executed. This is regardless of the age of the embryo or fetus. So, according to the Bible, a pregnant woman is carrying life which must be treated with the utmost care and concern by others. This can be seen quite clearly from Psalm 139, verse 16, which says, Your eyes even saw me as an embryo. All its parts were written in your book, regarding the days when they were formed, but before any of them existed. I suppose you could argue, what if a child would be handicapped if it was born, and that is a reason why my mother terminated her first pregnancy. But the thing is that nobody's perfect, and there are lots of handicapped people in the world. People have conditions such as Down syndrome, and some of these people are almost as intelligent as the rest of us. I myself have been diagnosed with a form of autism known as Asperger's syndrome. So, although I might not seem to be, I am handicapped to a certain extent. So, it's all food for thought, isn't it? Does any baby really deserve to be killed while they're still in the womb? Anyway, if you feel like it, you can do your own further research on this on this topic, and just see what you think. Anyway, I'll be back soon with more with more reviews and discussions on various topics. Bye.